Connor Kenway, the protagonist who introduced me to the Assassin's Creed series. Assassin's Creed 3 was the first game I played completely back in 2017. I was completely new in the series and had no clue whatsoever about what assassins were and their cause. Now, obviously in the beginning we play as Haytham, and after quite a while we play as Connor. Connor gave me the introduction to the Assassin's Creed series. I did play the older Assassin's Creed games before Assassin's Creed 3, but Assassin's Creed 3 was the game that I fully completed before any other Assassin's Creed game. So I would consider Assassin's Creed 3 to be my first. Now, as a complete Assassin's Creed noob, I had no idea how generally the assassins were. Whenever I used to see assassins before, playing Assassin's Creed, I used to see Assassin's Creed like in a way, wow, it's so cool. I don't know about the story, but it looks cool and stuff like that. But I never really paid attention to, the whole structure, the story and stuff like that. So this game was the introduction, and to be honest, this is where the journey started, guys. So Connor was the only character I could make my judgment off of. Also, starting from the beginning, I realized this guy was brutal, man. The combat in this game clearly shows how his aggressiveness is used in it. Anyways, now if you see how he grew up, he went through a lot. Like, being a Native American at that time was one of the worst positions to be on this planet. Outside of the whole assassin theme, even if the game was not actually based on the assassins, he would probably still have to go through a lot because obviously he was Native American. Plus, now that he was given in charge of being an assassin and fight for the cause, it significantly increases the difficulty. Might be a hot take, but his situation was probably one of the worst in the whole Assassin's Creed series from the beginning, also throughout his whole journey. Being a Native American at that time when colonialism was on the rise, it's like a difficulty multiplier. Spoiler alert. Also, if you see the whole character arc of his, he goes through a lot of tragedies. First, that his dad is an a-hole. Then in his childhood, his whole community gets raided by the army. Plus, his mom gets killed in the whole process. He also gets fake arrested at some point and is on execution trial. He has to kill one of his childhood friends as well in the end part, if I remember. And finally, he has to also kill his dad because he has no other option in the end, right? Now, I was going through some posts on Reddit and I saw a lot of negative comments that Connor is so aggressive, has no emotions, is selfish, never smiles, and numerous other things. Now, it's pretty hilarious that some people actually said in the same statement that Connor is so aggressive, and at the same time a lot of them said like he has no emotions. Like, how does both of these things go like together? I find it pretty hilarious. I just want to say, if you are in a position like him and the tragedies I mentioned happens with you, then only you're gonna understand how it feels to be constantly engaging in some sort of discrimination and challenge the moment you step your foot outside of your house. Obviously, the first goal was to find out his father's whereabouts, and he also had a soft spot for him almost till the end, despite of Achilles telling him that he should not side with a Templar. But obviously, it's understandable because Haytham is his father, and everyone's gonna have a soft spot for their father, right? It's just how we are. His childhood friend also goes in different direction because he is manipulated by Charles Lee and kind of dragged towards the Templars. Also, the choices Connor was given were also very hard to take. On one hand, the army of George Washington is attacking the natives, and on the other hand, Templars are jumping in between to help the natives by ultimately pushing their own narrative and getting the Apple of Eden from the natives. If you don't remember, the Apple of Eden was kept by them and they had the duty to protect it, if you guys paid attention to the story. Being in Connor's boots, the whole scenario is pretty shit, to be honest. No side is benefiting you. It's like being in a country where majority of the political parties are corrupt, but you have to choose the least corrupt amongst them. And obviously, he became an assassin, right? So he wasn't gonna betray the creed just for the sake of choosing his father and embracing the Templar cause. So he had to somehow take the side of the newly formed American army to challenge the Templars because he didn't know at that time that George Washington was having some other plan. So ultimately, he gets betrayed by even them. Just imagine the amount of anger it would have created in him. Also, a lot of people mentioned about him having no emotions. It's actually a real thing. When you face situations like these constantly, you're gonna get desensitized after a certain point and it will stop creating emotions in you. That's just how it happens. If you see places that are war prone, you're gonna see that kids from their early childhood sort of lose all the emotions and they get desensitized after a certain point. Also, speaking of him being selfish that a lot of people talk about, if working for your community, which has largely been displaced throughout decades and discriminated against, is selfish, then you are in a very privileged position to have that argument, I'm sorry to say. Also, it's pretty funny at the same time that he actually helped George Washington even when he attacked the native communities that included even Connor's community as well. And actually, just little off the tangent, if you've played Assassin's Creed Rogue, the Creed got little out of the tenets they used to follow as well. Like they helped the French who owned slaves to fight off the British, and this was the same assassin faction held by Achilles, and Connor joins him instead because he was told to do so. Like he helped a lot of white people as well throughout the game to fight the British off the land, despite of knowing that the white people again are gonna discriminate them as well as black people, you know. Still, after America got its independence, there were still Native Americans who used to get tortured, you know, black people getting slaved. So, you know, that still happened. Despite of that, I mean, he helped them to achieve the independence. In the end of the video, I'm gonna play a footage that actually was pretty deep. So stick to the end and you're gonna understand the depth of Connor's character and story of Assassin's Creed 3 in general. And another thing that makes him look not good is because this game came right after the Ezio trilogy. And Connor's personality is very different than Ezio's. So that is also one of the reasons why people compare Connor with Ezio, which is just not fair to be honest. As much as I like Ezio, Connor's situation was worse in my opinion. I feel like the whole comparison of Ezio versus Connor does not do Connor enough justice because of the reasons I mentioned, but also Ezio had 3 games and Connor had just 1. Like how is that a fair comparison? Like, you know, you probably don't even know what happened in his later part of the life, you know, what changed in him, like the transformation and stuff like that. It's still a mystery. But anyways, I want to actually show this footage of the end of Assassin's Creed 3 that's gonna sum everything up and show that even after Connor fighting so much throughout the game, he still doesn't see the justice. But he already knew from the beginning that, you know, getting independence from the British is not gonna change anything, you know. In the long run, you know, obviously things change in America, but at that time he knew that, you know, still his community and the black people at that time are still gonna be, you know, treated like that. So here it is.
America has no need for your services,
back to Britain
gentlemen.
in a box. Death to the oppressor!
Cut them down!
Anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video, man. I am actually thinking to make like protagonist videos like these, you know, that I'm gonna like, you know, cover all the protagonists that are present in the whole series. So feel free to mention any protagonist that you want to be covered and I'll do that 100%. And if you have any other video ideas regarding this game or any game in general, feel free to comment down below. Make sure to like and sub if you wanna help me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.